Hi guys, I'm just going to go over with you a little bit how to do the Delta Math number 1 homework, which is due September 22nd, Tuesday. So the first section is combining positive and negative integers. You have to get 10 correct in a row in 100 seconds. So let me just go over with you the rules for adding and subtracting integers. So for adding integers, when you have the same signs, you keep that sign. So a positive plus a positive is positive. A negative plus negatives is just even more negatives. So same signs, keep the sign for adding. So, and then for when you have different signs, so one positive and one negative, one positive, and you're adding those, you end up dropping the signs, subtracting the two numbers, and keeping the sign of who has more, who has the greater value. So that's, you see, like, is there more negatives or more positives to start? And that's the sign that kind of wins in the end. Okay, so same signs, keep the sign, different signs, subtract, and keep the larger integer sign. Okay, when you have subtraction of integer problems, we don't like subtraction, so we turn it into addition. You can rewrite subtraction problems as adding the opposite. So negative 8 minus 3 turns into negative 8 plus a negative 3. Okay, so you can use these little tips down here to help you as well. So let's start them and I'll do some for you. Okay, so 7 plus negative 8. Those have different signs, so I'm going to drop the signs and just have a 7 and an 8. I subtract them, which I get 1, and then there's more negatives than positives, so it's going to be a negative 1. Okay, negative 2 minus 7. We don't like subtraction of integer problems, at least I don't. So I'm going to rewrite this as adding the opposite. So I keep the negative 2, I turn subtraction to addition, and then I turn my 7 into a negative 7. Now I know negatives plus negatives is just even more negatives, and this is going to give me negative 9. 4 plus negative 2, different signs, so I drop the signs and subtract. 4 minus 2 is 2. There's more positives than negatives, so positive. Okay, this one, negative 2 minus a negative 6. This is very messy, right? So we're going to do keep, change, change. Turn it into adding the opposite. You keep the first integer, change subtraction to adding, and then the second integer to its opposite. Negative 2 plus 6, that's going to give me 4 because different signs. So I subtract. 6 minus 2 is 4. Keep the positive sign because there's more positives. That would be positive 4. Okay, I'll just do one more for you. Okay, so this is 1 minus a negative 3. Don't like subtraction, so I'm going to use adding the opposite. So keep the first integer, turn it into adding the opposite. That's just 1 plus 3, which is 4. Okay, and remember that when you have a minusing a negative like that, they just cross and make a big fat plus in the middle. All right, so that would be 4. Okay, so I'm going to stop. Obviously, those took me a little longer because I was taking the time to explain them to you, but you keep going until you get 10 out of 10, and you have to do it in 100 seconds. Okay, so let's see what else we have. Multiplying and dividing integers. So same thing. 10 in 100 seconds. Here's the rules for multiplying and dividing integers. So when you have the same signs, you end up with a positive answer. So don't get confused. These are different than the adding and subtracting rules. So a negative times a negative is a positive, and a positive times a positive is a positive. So these little smiley faces might help you. Positive, positive, smiley face. Happy, positive. A negative times a negative. Happy face because it's positive. When we're positive, we're happy. Okay, so 2 negatives makes a positive with multiplying and dividing. Okay, and you'll see that right here. 2 positives times each other, the product is positive. 2 negatives multiplied by each other, the product is positive. Same thing for division. Okay, when you have different signs, so 1 negative times 1 positive, you end up with a negative quotient or product. So think about it. Why would you want like 1 negative I and 1 positive I? You're going to be a frowny face, you're going to be negative. So when you have one of each different signs, the answer, the quotient or product is negative. And you can see that right here. Okay, so let me try some. Negative divided by positive, different sign, so negative, and I know it's negative 3. Same signs, positive. Same signs, positive. Different signs, negative. Different signs, negative. Different signs, negative. Same signs, positive. Okay, you get the idea. All right, lastly, I'm just going to go over with you some two-step equations. You have to get 5 of these correct. So let me go over with you the steps for two-step equations. Your goal is to isolate the variable, get that x all by itself, or in this case, a t. You're going to draw a line down the equal sign to start. Then you use inverse operations, which are opposites, to get rid of the number on the same side as the x, all the numbers on the same side. You want to get everything away from the x, the variable. And to do that, you're going to use PEMDAS backwards because we're undoing the equation. So you always start by undoing the adding and subtracting, then you undo the multiplying and dividing. Okay, in the end, you're going to write your solution as like x equals whatever, plug it back in and check. Okay, so let me try this one with you. 45 equals 5t plus 45. Okay, I'm going to draw a line down the equal sign. Right, I did step 1. Step 2, use inverse or opposite operations. So I'm using PEMDAS backwards. So I'm going to take care of my adding and subtracting first. This is multiplication, 5 times t, and this is plus 45. So we have adding. I'm going to undo the adding first. Opposite of adding 45 is minusing 45. 45 minus 45 is going to give me 0. That's gone now. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. Okay, bring down my 5t. And then 45 minus 45, well, that one's also 0. So that does cancel out, but we can't have just nothing on the left side. So I need to actually put a number there. So I'm going to put that 0. All right, now this is 5 times t. So I'm moving my way through PEMDAS backwards. Now I'm at the multiplying and dividing. The opposite of multiplying by 5 is dividing by 5. So I'm going to divide both sides by 5. Okay, and 5 over 5 is 1t, so just 1t. 0 divided by 5 is 0. So I have my answer, t equals 0. Then I could check it by taking my 0, plugging it back into the original for t, and using PEMDAS forward. So 5 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 45 is 45. So 45 equals 45. Okay, so I'm going to put 0. I'll hit yes. I think that's correct. And it said so I'm correct. So I got 1 out of 5 right. And it goes through all the steps just so I can look it over and watch a video too. Okay, I'm going to do another one with you. So now we have negative 24 plus 6x equals negative 6. All right, PEMDAS in reverse when we're undoing the equation to find the variable. So and another strategy is you can circle your variable so you remember, get everything else away from it. All right, so I have a negative 24 plus a 6x. So be careful because a lot of people think, oh, well, this is addition. So the opposite is minusing. So I'm going to minus 24. But this is a negative 24. So a negative 24 minus 24, that's going to be negative 48. So then I would be left with this, which I don't want. I want to get the numbers away from the x. So be careful. We need to add 24 because we don't even need to look at this 6x, this plus 6x yet. Negative 24 plus 24, that's going to cancel. Then I'll just have my 6x equals, and then whatever you do to one side, do to the other. Negative 6 plus 24 is going to give me a positive 18. Okay, now 6 times x, opposite of multiplication is division. So divide both sides by 6, and you get x equals 3. Okay, and then you can plug it back into check. And it walks you through it. Okay, and then you just have to keep going until you get 5 of them correct. So I hope this helps. And yeah, good luck. Let us know if you have any questions by messaging us on Schoology or email, or try to come to an extra help session. Bye.